My whole life, I don't get no respect. No respect from anyone.
But notice how much happiness and exuberance the Packers had, Matt LaFleur specifically, when they drafted Jordan Love. Like, that was telling to me if you saw how happy he was when they picked Jordan Love.
No question. And Stephen A., speaking of emotions, how should Aaron Rodgers feel about this move?
He should feel disgusted. He should feel insulted. And as far as I'm concerned, if I was Aaron Rodgers, I'd ask to be traded. To hell with all of them. Kick rocks. Have a nice life. I'll move on without you. That's how I feel Aaron Rodgers should feel at this particular moment in time. Let me be very, very clear about where I stand. This is no knock against Jordan Love. I want to make sure I'm clear about that, Adam. It's no mark against Jordan Love whatsoever. He may have the potential. Matt LaFleur may have every right to feel as exuberant about him as he may feel. But there comes a point in time where you got to listen and really dissect the words of certain people. Like Gutekunst, the GM, he goes out there and he says last night, what does he say? Aaron Rodgers is a professional. He understands what this is about. This is about now. Well, it's not about now. It's about 2 years from now. It could be about 3 or 4 years from now, but certainly it's not about now, feeding off an NFC championship game appearance, which you just had. So let's dissect this situation for a second here. Aaron Rodgers was drafted in 2005. Do you know that the Green Bay Packers have never drafted another offensive player in the first round since? No wide receiver, no running back, no tight end, nothing. He's been your starting quarterback since 2008. He delivered a Super Bowl championship for you in 2010. He carried this franchise on his shoulders for a damn decade. You've never got him any elite players in the first round. You've always gone a defensive route. Each and every single year. You drafted a quarterback in 2005 in Aaron Rodgers. The next time you drafted an offensive player was last night in the first round. You might do things in the second and third round and all of that stuff, and we get that. But there's something to be said about your best player, your star, who had a down year. And the definition of a down year was 4,000 yards passing with just 4 interceptions. Oh, by the way, since 2010, the man hasn't thrown double digits in the interception category. And this is how you treat him. In the end, it's not about Aaron Rodgers. That's what the Green Bay Packers are saying. It's not about using his greatness, buffering that so we can go and win the chip. It's about thinking about life when he's gone, even though he's still here. When you're the best and you're the franchise and you're the guy carrying everything, you should be thought about. Your feelings, what you believe, what buffers and supports and augments you should be a priority. And if it's not a priority, you should tell them to kiss you where the sun doesn't shine. Get me the hell up out of here. Give it to Jordan Love and let's find a different location for me. That's what I think Aaron Rodgers should be saying today.
And the Green Bay Packers, they trade up from pick number 30, shortly after being in the NFC Championship game, shortly after being 1 game away from being at the Super Bowl. They trade up from 30 to 26 to draft not another weapon for Aaron Rodgers, not a defensive player to stop a team from potentially running another 186 yards before contact like what happened in their last game that they played. Instead, they draft Aaron Rodgers' successor, when Aaron still has 4 years left on his contract. This was a mind blower. This was a mind boggler. This makes absolutely no sense to anybody who has a brain, but I absolutely loved it. Gave us something to talk about, and we have a diehard Packers fan in this room who lost his mind last night, and I think he is a direct representative of the entire Packers faithful. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all the BS that was happening with Tua potentially falling. He goes to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins had a big first round last night. Justin Herbert, friend of the show, ends up with the Los Angeles Chargers. Is he the only quarterback that should be new to the Los Angeles Chargers franchise? This morning, while I was driving to work, I was kicking around some possible ideas if I was Aaron Rodgers, what I would try to do. If I just bought a house in Malibu and I see that my franchise does not give a damn about my success at all. They don't care about us winning, us being 1 game away from the Super Bowl, me not having a weapon drafted in the first round for 15 years. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, and he won't do this, because we have some clips that he told us about how he wants to be a Green Bay Packer for the rest of his life. Did that change last night? I don't know. This is an eerily similar situation to the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation if you don't look at the facts, if you don't look at the stats. Brett Favre was teasing retirement. Aaron Rodgers was the number one quarterback of that draft class. And I think they were like 4-12 or something at one point. Everything about the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation is nowhere near similar to this Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation. They were in the NFC Championship game last year, and Aaron Rodgers has said on numerous occasions he wants to play past 40, which he is 4 years away from. Did you see the Buccaneers draft another quarterback? They signed Tom Brady for 2 years. Aaron Rodgers on 4 years. Aaron Rodgers still has a contract. The Buccaneers said, no, we're good. We're going to actually get some protection for the guy. Did you see the New Orleans Saints last night take a backup quarterback to Drew Brees, who just signed a 2-year deal? A 2-year deal after getting hurt last year. He signs a 2-year deal. Did they draft his backup quarterback of the future? No. The only people that did it was the Green Bay Packers. We have to talk about that. We have to get Ty's reaction. I guess there are some Packers fans on the line that want to give their take. That is the story of round one. And it just so happened to be about an hour and a half after Aaron Rodgers was talking to us about what could potentially happen for the Packers and how he'll react to it. I mean, this is a wild time to be alive. We're in day whatever of quarantine without live sports. But last night, the Green Bay Packers said, hey, I know you guys don't got a damn thing to talk about. Let's change that. This draft has been boring. Everybody's been doing what they're supposed to. We're going to come in and fornicate this whole thing.
I mean, what an absolute slap in the face to Aaron Rodgers. To be a fly on Aaron Rodgers' Malibu wall when he sees in one of the deepest wide receiver drafts ever, in a draft where there hadn't yet been a single running back or tight end taken, so you could have either had a top flight wide receiver, your number one running back, or your number one tight end, that his team not only, for the first time, as you mentioned, Jenna, in his career, drafts a non-offensive lineman, offensive player in the first round, but they trade up to do so, and that player's a quarterback. You were 13-3 last year. Hell, you were, if you include the playoffs, 14-2 against the whole league, not named San Francisco, and 0-2 against the Niners. You were a game away from going to the Super Bowl and losing, of course, to Patrick Mahomes. But still, it would have been nice to get there. And yet, instead of saying, how can we get past San Francisco, you're planning for the future. You're trading up to draft a player who you hope desperately doesn't play a single snap in 2020 or 2021. It is, to me, Coach, the absolute definition of focusing on making sure you never fall off a cliff rather than focusing on trying to win a championship now. If you're Rodgers or a Packer fan, I don't know how you wake up this morning, Coach, anything other than beside yourself.
He drafts the quarterback, Jordan Love. And I know what a lot of people are saying. They're saying, hey, I mean, Green Bay drafted Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre was still good. No. Different situation. Aaron Rodgers, many thought there were arguments he could have been the best player in the draft, the number one pick. He turned out to be. But there were debates whether you should take him number one. He fell to Green Bay. Jordan Love is a debatable first-round quarterback. And they traded up over teams that weren't going to take him, we think, to get a quarterback. This is not the same thing. This is not the same thing. I want you to see it from Aaron Rodgers' point of view, regardless of what I think. So Aaron Rodgers plays the San Francisco 49ers twice last year. He's down 23-0 first half of the first game and 27-0 at half the second game. The games were over at half. Outscored 50-0. Humiliated, manhandled. He watched last night the San Francisco 49ers, the team that has more good players. It's not real close. Go out and draft the first or second best defensive lineman to a defensive line that gave him fits, and then go get another good weapon. He's just hoping for a second wide receiver in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers isn't happy today, and you wouldn't be happy, and it's not fair to criticize Aaron Rodgers if he's a little prickly today. Happiness matters. For your quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson feels supported. Supported matters. Aaron's the one taking the beatings in these football games against San Francisco. Now, I've said before, I've always thought that the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay relationships It's a weird fit. He is this good-looking Hollywood, California, cool, glamorous guy in the NFL's smallest, least glamorous market. He pushes back on religion. That's God's country. Wisconsin likes their beer. He prefers scotch. He's a superstar in a market that a superstar struggles to leave the house and doesn't really attract superstars. The Midwest, they're nice. He can be a little aloof. Not being critical can be a little difficult. This is Joe Namath in Buffalo. Nah. Joe Namath in Buffalo doesn't work. Joe Namath had to be in New York. You can be in New York State if you're Joe Namath, but you can't be in Buffalo. Joe Namath had to be in New York. This is LeBron in Cleveland. Oh, wait, he left twice. It's always been an odd fit to me. Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay has always been an odd fit. And after last night, knowing how good the NFC is, Minnesota's loaded in his division. Once Chicago gets the quarterback right, I love their coach. They got players. This now Green Bay Aaron Rodgers, at least from Aaron's side, and he won't say it publicly, he'll probably be a good soldier, they're just tolerating each other. Listen, Peyton Manning always felt loved in Indy. I mean, when they let him go, they cried. He cried, they cried. Drew Brees feels loved. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, loved. Sam Darnold's a baby. He didn't even win in games. They love him. The owner loves him. The GM loves him. Aaron Rodgers is in that class. They don't feel loved. Didn't feel supported. I mean, Green Bay's got just some innate disadvantages. They don't get free agents. And now you draft a backup quarterback. Just this rant is about how do you think it lands for Aaron? Regardless of what I think or what you think. How do you think it lands for him? Never. Aaron's in a Super Bowl window. Aaron needs help. It wasn't the best thing for Green Bay today. You know, it may be the best thing for Green Bay in 4 years, but it's not the best thing for Green Bay today. And Aaron Rodgers, he's playing today. Aaron Rodgers is taking the beatings today. Aaron Rodgers trails 23-0 and 27-0 at half to San Francisco today. He's not interested in you putting money in a 401k. He's like, baby, let's go to Vegas. Put it on black and white, black and red. I need money now. I need money now. I need cash. I need players. I need help now. This ain't about a 401k.